What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Now today, we're having a look at the dated push that has just come through. Shout out to our data miners who have been able to find this information out. But you do see there's a bunch of icons here. There's some duplicates because you have the Korean icons and then you have like the global icons. But there is going to be a brand new batch. Obviously, we know that Cross Guild was coming. We knew there was going to be a new batch involved in this. And it looks like the batch is going to be Moji, Richie, Kabaji, and Alvida as one character. And then Mr. 3 as his own other dedicated character. Coby, the PKA unit, is super evolving in the treasure map. So we'll go through his new abilities. And then, of course, we have the Cross Guild themselves with Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk. If you guys haven't seen my full breakdown of the brand new Cross Guild Legend, go ahead and check out my previous video. I think this unit's really strong, especially in Bite Rumble, going to be a menace to deal with. But let's actually get to some of these new characters that we haven't talked about just yet. So we'll start off with Coby. So Coby is the PKA unit. Now, I am disappointed once again because I feel like the buffs that they gave this guy with Super Evolution don't warrant us not getting a free-to-play unit. Like, this is a ridiculous like thing that they're doing right now. They just need to buff these units way more than what they're currently doing. So let's start off with his captain effect. The only difference is that he makes tandem slots matching, and then the attack goes from 3.75 to 4, and then if you're above the threshold, from 4 times to 4.25. No real change in his captain, honestly. The special ability basically stays the same, albeit for a couple of different things. He now removes Bind and Despair by 5 turns. Previously, it was just Bind. The chain boost goes from 1.1 to 1.3. And also says that after you have healed like more than 20,000, then it also heals 15 times his recovery. So for a super evolution, to get 5 turns of Despair removal, a 0.2 increase to their chain that they were giving, and then a 15 times character's recovery as heal. I don't know about you, but this doesn't feel like a good super evolution. In all honesty, this seems pretty bad for a 5+. I'm very disappointed. They could have at least given him something useful in his captain effect. Like, we know that, you know, when the Film Red stuff was coming out with, who was it, Bluno, Beppo, and Sunny-kun, they at least had, like, special reverse in their captain. Like, he doesn't even have that, so captain ability is disappointing. The special ability just isn't changing all that much. Like, yes, Despair removal is a nice addition, but to warrant us not getting a free-to-play treasure map unit, it just doesn't feel worth it. You know, that's the way I feel. Not a fan of this. Hopefully they can change this in the future, man. Like, keep trying to let them know that, you know, this is not good. This is not good enough, honestly. It really isn't. The crewmate abilities are the exact same. He resists 2 turns of reverse. He resists 1 turn of Despair as a sub. Like, that's actually really good. But it is kind of annoying that he resists 2 turns of reverse, but he still only removes 1 turn of cooldown. If they buff this to 2 turns of cooldown, I would have definitely been a lot more excited about this. But no, he only just resists 1 turn of it. So, yeah, I think that this is a pretty disappointing super evolution. I will say, artwork is pretty cool, but they needed to do more. They just needed to do more. We're going to move on, though. So the next one here is Mr. 3, Galdino, partnering up with Cross Guild, of course. So let's go through this character's abilities. He's a driven striker, he's quick, and his captain ability gives -1 cooldown to those classes, a 3.5 times attack, 15% damage reduction. Yeah, no one's looking at his captain effect. Special ability. So let's see how this synergizes with Cross Guild. So he does 80% damage reduction for 1 turn. That's okay. He removes all poison. Interesting. So I wonder if poison slots are going to be in this content. We'll see. He also changes the crew's block and unfavorable slots into matching. Okay. He also reduces attack down by 6 turns. Pretty good. But then if you have 6 driven on your crew, doubles the color affinity of driven for 3 turns, and extends the duration of all boosts for 1 turn, and then your top row gets -2 cooldown. So this does partner up very well with Cross Guild, as you would use the special ability, you get a 2.75 orb boost for, how long is it? It's for 2 turns, I believe it is. Then when you launch this guy's special, you can not only give cooldown to that unit in the top row so that they can launch their special again, but also extend the duration of their orb boost to be a 3-turn orb boost is pretty good. Though Cross Guild only get the orb boost on the 2nd special launch, so if you have a way to, you know, launch their special and then launch it again to actually get the orb boost, or use it in the turn prior, then use it to get the orb boost, yes, this could actually be really good. But then he says if you have 6 striker characters on your crew, boost color affinity of strikers by 2.25 for 1 turn, extend the duration of your orb boost by 1, and then your middle row gets -2 turns. That is bizarre. Why are they doing that? Okay, you just gotta think, like, why would they do that? Why would they make it so if you run mono driven, you get this buff, but if you run mono striker, you get this buff? Are they trying to build some kind of upcoming striker team that would involve Mr. 3? I don't really get it. I don't get why this is a thing. Very, very weird effect. And it's for the middle row. The middle row gets -2 turns. I don't get it. Because the thing is, cross guild is driven slasher. So you can't even use this with cross guild. So in my mind, I'm thinking that they are building this Mr. 3 to work with something else coming up that is focusing on striker. Doesn't make sense to me right now. Very, very interesting. He does resist 2 turns of reverse. That's good. And then a bit of a buff to driven and slasher. Wait, that's weird. Driven and slasher, but he's a striker. Odd. Okay. Potential abilities, limit special use, damage... Oh, wow. Damage reduction. That's odd. And then his support attaches to Buggy. Once per quest, if the supported character uses a special, reduces damage taken by 40% and reduces the supported character's cooldown by 1. Don't think this is that great. I don't think it's going to see that much play. The support rev recruit, Mr. 3, is definitely a better unit. But that's the thing, if you use this guy in your crew, you actually can't use that support. So it's interesting, I guess. Yeah, that's Mr. 3. He seems okay. I'm not really too sold on him. He seems alright. I think he's obviously going to work very, very well in this upcoming piece of content. But even if you just take like the class restriction stuff out of the way, you still get damage reduction, poison removal, slot change, and attack down removal. Like that's already pretty good. And these units that we're talking about in this video are going to be recurring in upcoming treasure maps in the future. So if you don't get them now, you will be able to get them in the future. So the last character we'll talk about in this video is going to be the Karl, Moji, Richie, and Alvida character, who are also driven and striker. So once again, I don't know, they're doing something with strikers. Captain ability really doesn't matter, honestly, but this special ability gives a threshold. 3,000 threshold for 1 turn. That's pretty good. He heals 6,000 HP. It's a very specific number of 6,000, sure. He locks the crew slots for 1 turn. Okay, it's good. And reduces crew's paralysis by 6. Okay, seems pretty decent. And then it says, when there are 6 driven characters on your crew, you boost driven characters' attack by 2.25 for 3 turns, and then reduce the top row cooldown by 2. So a very similar kind of special that we saw with Mr. 3. And then when there are 6 striker characters on your crew, boost striker characters' attack by 2.5 for 1 turn, and then your middle row gets -2 turns. Yeah, I don't know what they're planning with this. Like, I guess they want to make it so that, you know, this character isn't, like, solely supposed to be used with cross guild. Like, you can run mono striker, and these characters will actually work really good on a mono striker team. But are they planning for that, or are they just saying, hey, if you end up using strikers for whatever reason, these characters are pretty good? Or are they planning to have a new striker-focused batch in the future that, you know, Mr. 3 and these guys are supposed to be used for? Don't really know at this point in time. But of course, they're going to work really, really well with cross guild. With double cross guild, you have the buggy crew, and then you have Mr. 3. You need 2 more driven characters to fulfill your team comp to get the most out of it. And it's going to be a pretty good team, I think. And remember that Buggy as a captain, you know, cross guild, they completely resist despair, so that's a pretty big positive. One thing that I did notice though is that none of the batch removed bind, right? None of the batch removes bind. So that's kind of interesting, because if your captain is inflicted with bind and then you're inflicted with despair, that will negate the cross guild captain effect, which will mean that the despair removal effect in their captain won't activate. So it's kind of interesting. I thought for sure that there would have been a bind removal somewhere. I guess Coby technically does that. And he actually changes into... No, it's not driven. Okay, I was going to say, this character's cerebral fighter. I was going to say, if Coby changed into driven, that would actually be insane. But that's not the case. Okay, but... yeah, interesting stuff. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about this new batch down below in the comment section. I think the batch is, like, just okay. I'm excited for Cross Guild, though. I think Cross Guild is a really, really cool character. And I guess one other thing that we should talk about before we wrap up is that the next super evolution coming is going to be Arlong crew, which is ridiculous. So that's going to make that specific Grand Voyage against... who is it again? It's the Arlong one. The one on, on Arlong Park. with this guy getting a super evolution, that's going to make that specific Grand Voyage very, very easy now, because this guy has a terrible captain ability, so that's going to be interesting to see that. But there is, speaking of Grand Voyage, a new one coming out for Twin Cape, and it's going to be, you want to be running a mono quick team, so it's going to be a strength-focused boss, of course, and it's going to be versus Vivi, so that's going to be very interesting to see what that's all about, but we'll see what happens March 6th, so it comes out very, very shortly. So anyways, that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this batch, of course, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.